Thank you. Thank you very much, and a very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. As you just heard, my name is Stephen Dunbar-Johnson, and as President International for the New York Times Company, it is my very sincere and great honor to welcome all of you to our 15th International Luxury Conference. As you all know, we were meant to host our conference last November, but with the tragic terrorist attacks unfolding the weekend before, we made the decision to postpone this event. And so I would like to thank you all for rearranging your busy diaries to join us over the next day and a half. If you weren't aware, this conference was born here in France some 12 years ago, actually more than that, but it's been 12 years. We did the first 3 here in France. It's been 12 years since we were last here. In that time, we've convened the event across the world's established and rising luxury markets: Miami, Hong Kong, Singapore, London, Moscow, Sao Paulo, among others. Now, I'm dating myself here, but I have been to every single one of our conferences. However, I remember the first as if it was yesterday. I remember it not just because it was the first, but because of the tragic circumstances surrounding its debut, just 2 grim months after 9/11. Like then, as in this past November, we had seriously considered abandoning the idea of going ahead, given the context and the understandably extremely bleak outlook the industry had at that time. Clearly, we did go ahead, and the conference became memorable, not just because of the backdrop, because of the meeting of minds, the solidarity in the industry, the sense of place, the sense of sharing, the sense of perspective and of purpose. And as Vanessa said just after the tragic events last November in her piece directly after the events, she said, "We shouldn't in times of loss and tragedy turn away from luxury. This is especially so when it comes to France. We should instead find strength and rally behind an industry that is synonymous with this country's national identity, heritage, jobs, and commerce." So, although the conference was moved to April, there was no question about where it needed to be and why, right here in France, whose values are core to what this event aims to achieve. Now, in all the years we have convened the International Luxury Conference here, each and every one has had, for different reasons and contexts, created a unique sense of sharing, inspiration, and collectivity. And I'm sure, thanks to Vanessa's wonderful curation skills, and you in this room, that this year's event will be no exception. And as there are so many influential thinkers and style makers here, excuse me, I do hope you all make like the courtiers de l'Ancien Régime did in this splendid town back in the 18th century, and use this as an opportunity to network and socialize like crazy, both inside and outside of this room, as well as on social networks. Talking of which, a few housekeeping points. We encourage you to join the conversation by following us on Twitter at INYTLuxury. The hashtag is NYTLuxury. Details for our Twitter handle and hashtag on the slide, I hope, behind me. They're not, they're on the screens. Also on that slide is an email address, q@nytimes.com. Your views and opinions really do matter to us. We'd like to hear from you during sessions, so please feel free to send us questions here, and we will endeavor to read out as many as possible to our speakers as they can respond in real time. And you can download our New York Times Live app to conveniently engage with one another and browse the agenda in ways that 18th century courtiers could never have imagined. Details about how to download and use the app can be found in your delegate book. Now, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all of our generous sponsors for their support and for sticking with us despite the postponement. They are Agility Research and Strategy, Almax, Charles Heidsieck, Efficio, Essek, Getty Images, Mall of Qatar, MacArthur Glen Group, Primum Familae Vini, Renault-Nissan Alliance, Waldorf Astoria, and Zenith Optimedia. And with very special thanks to our principal sponsors, Michel Dayens, HP, and of course, Chopard. HB will be doing a special draw, which was mentioned last night by Meredith, my colleague Meredith, at the pre-gala champagne toast in the Salon Clemenceau across the way at the end of the day. So please ensure you enter by leaving your business card at the registration desk. I hear it's going to be well worth it, so don't miss out. And for those invited to the gala dinner this evening, please note that you will also need to collect your invitation card at the pre-gala champagne toast at 6:30 in order to board transportation access to the chateau. So, the context for the luxury sector since we last convened in Miami has become, shall I say, complicated. As you are all too aware, myriad factors are driving change amongst luxury consumers and the marketplace. So I'm not going to lecture on those. Far more qualified experts than I are going to provide you with the insight and strategies to manage this new hyper-connected world over the course of our proceedings during the next day and a half. It is why the theme that Vanessa has given this year's event is values beyond product. I am very proud that for several years now, this conference has placed the sustainability and ethics of the luxury industry at its core. Those discussions have become even more relevant given the momentous global carbon reduction framework that was negotiated by world leaders just up the road in Paris last December. The question of unrelenting consumerism and the pressures it places on the sustainability of our planet is moving from the abstract to the very real as we come to understand the full consequences of a resource-depleted and warming planet. It is why sustainability should be an important strategic element of all global luxury players. Without doubt, it is something that has become obligatory as consumers demand it. But of course, the digital revolution continues apace. It continues to transform, if not everything, most things, and the luxury industry is no exception. We will be looking at how well brands have harnessed the internet to pull in consumers who, driven by greater digital savvy, increasingly look to social media and e-commerce to complement their buying decisions. Now, this is particularly relevant to us at the New York Times, as we seek to continue to grow our global digital audience of 90 million monthly unique visitors and double our online-only revenue over the next 5 years, which is our ambition. The Times is doing this through investment in new storytelling platforms like the New York Times virtual reality app, launched in October of last year. Our first film powerfully brought to life the perspectives of those displaced by conflict and showed how visual journalism, married with great written, compelling storytelling, can be so powerful. Or the release of the New York Times on Espanol, a Spanish-language online edition that not only provides unique coverage and perspectives, but also a translated selection of relevant Times articles too. And T-Brand Studios, our 2-year-old branded content studio, which since its creation 2 years ago, has launched 120 campaigns for more than 70 partners, helping them reach their target audiences across myriad platforms and channels. These are just a selection of how we are finding new ways of utilizing digital platforms to enhance our storytelling capabilities. I think we are proof that it is wholly possible to extend your brand's reach in this digital age whilst remaining steadfast to your core values. In our case, free and independent journalism of the highest standards, and integrity, an increasingly rare commodity in today's world. Just as we have, the luxury industry must continue to embrace digital innovations. We now have over 1.1 million digital-only subscribers, so it is a commodity that people are clearly willing to pay for. We at the Times have a long, proud tradition of impartial fashion and lifestyle coverage, reported without fear or favor, whether in print, online, or presented live at this conference. Leading style journalism is very much a part of our brand's heritage, and it is very much part of our growth plans as we seek to engage readers and be an essential part of their daily lives across all platforms across the globe. Our ambition and commitment to fashion and lifestyle reporting is reflected by the deep bench of expertise of our style team, many of whom are here today, including the excellent Elizabeth Patton, European styles correspondent who joined the team this past summer. I'd like to thank and welcome Whitney Vargas. Where are you, Whitney? Whitney's there. Our new executive editor of Tea, whose rich experience will undoubtedly ensure that the magazine continues to ooze quality and go from strength to strength, breaking pagination's records along the way. Last September not only saw Tea magazine launch its largest design issue in history, but it also unveiled a new digital identity that beautifully brings to life the magazine's content online. And of course, there is our host for this conference, Vanessa Friedman. Since joining us nearly 2 years ago, Vanessa has applied a refreshing new level of analytical and intellectual rigor to our style reporting. She has the unique ability to see and anticipate looks and trends, but also cleverly contextualize its meaning for our readers. This, for me, was brilliantly illustrated recently in a piece about how fashion can be used to spark debate and deepen political engagement by framing the piece within Hillary Clinton's sartorial choices. Or in another personal favorite about the hirsute choices of Canadian political candidates as a branding device. Her writing skills, insight, and breadth of knowledge bring a distinctive and authoritative voice to our coverage on the runway. Vanessa has been instrumental to the development of this event, and she has curated what I think is a fascinating agenda that has brought together so many influential leaders and thought provocateurs under one roof and a few pillars. It was, though, her urging and adamancy, in fact, that we kept this conference here for the precise reasons she so eloquently reasoned in her post-attack piece in our paper back in November. So without further delay, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a very good conference, and please welcome Vanessa Friedman.